Morning you guys, it's Karen and I have got another sunscreen for you. This one is by Coco Eve. It's not a brand I have used at all, I don't think, but I've heard it mentioned by a few people. So this came out and it's called the Daily Watergel SPF50 Plus. So I was really interested in this and you can see I have used quite a lot. It's one of those pump products. Ooh, got eyeliner on there from the last video. That's what it looks like. It says it's a water gel, but to me it's nothing like a gel at all. I think at best you could call it a gel cream, but it's more like a milky fluid, to be honest. There's not really very much gel-like about it. Anyway, I do like it. That sounded like I don't like it, but let me tell you about it. I've got my notes here in front of me. So it is £23 for 68 ml, so there's quite a bit more in it, although, because to me I was thinking, oh, this looks kind of like the same size as the Dr. Pawpaw one I just reviewed, but actually there's a bit more in here. There's about 20 ml more in here. It's an SPF 50 and on the front it says plus, but when you look at the description of it, it says it's a plus. So I think that's good. And I don't know why they didn't put the extra pluses on the front of the packaging or in the title of it. This has got hyaluronic acid and vitamin E and aloe vera in it. It's non-nano. It's vegan and cruelty free, so that's fantastic. Sunscreen ingredients in this are homosalate and octisalate, which I kind of knew from reading the back. It was really difficult. You know, it was one of those where I had to take a picture and then sort of enlarge it. And it also has Tinazorb S and Uvenol T 150 in. So those had caught my eye when I was looking at the ingredients, but what I didn't see is it has avobenzone in it. It's not listed as avobenzone, it's listed as a much longer name than that, but I didn't see it. So this is homosalate, octisalate, avobenzone, Tinazorb S and Uvenol T 150. So this, for me, I wouldn't be a repurchase because it has avobenzone in it. That is just one of those that I haven't, you know how I said I'd softened on I don't mind so much the homosalate or the octyl salicate. I prefer it not be in it, but I don't mind so much. But avobenzone, I don't want to use that. It is one that has, I know that it needs more research, but it has shown to be a potential hormone disruptor. I just wouldn't want to risk that. It's got environmental issues. It degrades in sunlight, which is why it has to be mixed with other sunscreens. It can be an irritant. So there's just too many things about it that I'm just like, I'd prefer it didn't have avobenzone in it. So that was a downside for me that I hadn't noticed. It doesn't have any fragrance or alcohol in it, so that's really good. There's no white cast, and for me there wasn't anyway, and it was great under makeup and it didn't sting my eyes. You know, I always make sure that I put it over my eyes, apply it over my eyes. Somebody did comment on my last video on the one about the Dr. Pawpaw. A very valid point. You know, they were saying that when you see me applying it, I'll pump it into my hands and then I rub my hands together and then put it on. So am I putting on enough? There's a couple of things I want to say there. Firstly, when I put my sunscreen on camera, I then come back through here. So I'm normally doing my sunscreen and makeup and everything in here in the living room. And I go through to film it normally in my study. And so I'll just put an amount on so that you can see what the finish is like. Then I'll come back through here. And it's not to say I'll always put extra on, but I'll have a look at my face and see, do I need to put more on? And I normally come through here and put it on my neck anyway, because I don't generally put that on screen. I don't want the video to be too long, but I want you to be able to see me applying it. So that's one thing. I would always come through here and put a little bit more on. But I know that I'm not measuring it out. I think that's what they were saying, is that it might look like I've got the right amount when I pump it out, but I'm putting some of it on my hands and it's being absorbed, and therefore I'm not getting it completely on my face. And you should maybe apply it with 2 fingers, just, you know, on one hand. Honestly, for me personally, that's a step too far. I know you can buy these UV mirrors and have a look and see if you've got enough sunscreen on. That would be more applicable if I was spending any time in the sun, and I rarely spend time in the sun. If it's a really sunny day, we will tend to walk with Watson, our dog, but we will walk in the shade. We will make sure that we're in the trees, in the forests, you know, and don't spend any time in the sun because he hates it. We hate it. We've both got allergies. Neither of us like the sun particularly. Plus I'll have a sun hat on, you know, so I'm always kind of out of the sun. I'm not an outdoorsy person. So I would say that I've been applying it this way probably for 30 plus years, because I've been wearing sunscreen every day since I was 20, maybe even earlier than that. And, you know, I've never been burnt. And I would know instantly, because my skin burns very quickly. I would know if there was areas I wasn't applied it to. But like I said, I'm very rarely in the direct sun. So just to let you know, if you're in the sun, if you're in the direct sun, it may be worth looking into that, how much to apply, or whether to apply it with a couple of fingers and all of that. So I will put the video in, of course, of me applying it. I might have already done that by now, but that will hopefully explain it. But you can see the finish there. The finish on this is, I think, it's not shiny, it's not greasy, but it's not completely matte. It's, to me, like a normal finish. It's not that typical greasy sunscreen finish, but neither is it completely matte. I think it's very rare to get a matte finish in sunscreen. There's just that one that I tried from Cooler that I still have got, actually, and I'm going to use up. So my thoughts on this, well, like I said, it's not a gel. It's a lovely milky fluid. It applies really nicely. It feels really nice going on. I prefer the Dr. Pawpaw to this because of the ingredients. The Dr. Pawpaw doesn't have any avobenzone, doesn't have octisalate, homosalate, and it feels pretty similar to this. You know, if I put them side by side, there's not much between them. This one is £23, but there's 68 ml. The Dr. Pawpaw is £18 for 45 ml. So price-wise, they're about the same. Actually, the Dr. Pawpaw one is slightly more expensive per milliliter. But I much prefer the Dr. Pawpaw one to this, just because of the ingredients. But as far as the feel goes, I love the feel of this. It feels nice. It worked great under makeup. It's, you know, I've no complaints in that respect. I had a look at the reviews. There was quite a lot of reviews that I could have a look at for this. And they said light texture, ultra light. There was lots of comments about how light this was feeling. There was also lots of reviews saying there was no white cast on this, and particularly one from somebody with very dark skin, and she said it felt like velvet and there was no white cast at all on my very dark skin. So that's really good to know. And a lot of people saying that it's not shiny or greasy, and that's what they love about it. You know, it's lightweight, it's not shiny, and it's not greasy. So it does feel really nice going on. That's everything to know about this, I think. Let us know if you've used it. Definitely not a repurchase for me, obviously, but yeah, let me know what you think. I do love the pump, I have to say. That's one thing. I really like that on the Dr. Pawpaw one. But then sometimes you can't get the last bits out with a pump like that. But I do like the packaging, I have to say. But yeah, that's everything. I will list my makeup in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.